So, ever wondered how much one of these costs? Hi. Welcome to 5-Minute Fika, where we find the time to do a little self-care of the soul by thinking about true and beautiful things. So, wonder how much one of these costs? I'll tell you. But first, let me tell you that I was super awkward as a kid. As in, I fell over a lot. Like, I fell off of bikes. And when I tried to be on the swim team in 6th grade, I hit my head on the back of the diving board trying to do a backflip. When I was in 7th grade, I tried to join the track team and I got a black eye running hurdles because my back leg caught it and the whole thing flipped and hit me in the head. And for 2 weeks, I had to deal with everyone saying, "Who'd you going to fight with?" And I had to say a hurdle, and it was super embarrassing. So I gave up athletics for a while because clearly I am not built to be an athlete. But years later, when we were living in Germany and the writer's strike hit, and I couldn't watch TV because none of my shows were on because the writers were on strike, I thought I might give running a try. Because I figured running, you don't have to catch anything, you don't have to throw anything, you just don't stop. This is the kind of sport I can handle. So I remember that very first day, and I don't think I could even run for 2 minutes. I don't know that I could even run for 30 seconds. It was embarrassing. But I thought, all right, well, I'm going to set this goal. I'm going to see if I can hit 5K. And so I ran. We had a forest in the backyard. And so every day I would run and get a little farther and get a little farther. And it wasn't easy, but I would get a little farther. And then so I hit 5K, and then I thought, all right, well, I'll try for 10K. And we had actually moved, and we lived in Germany, and the Rhine River was in our backyard, and it was amazing because I could just keep running down the river. And it was a nice straight shot. And so I remember the first day that I hit 10K, and it was super exciting that I couldn't believe I'd gone that far, somewhere that I'd only ever driven to before, that I could have gotten there on foot. And a friend of ours, actually, she had signed up for a half marathon. She wasn't able to make the race, and so she asked if I wanted her place, and I said, well, okay. And so all of a sudden I went from running a 10K to running 13 and a half miles. And so I trained and I trained, and I did it. I couldn't believe it. So then, of course, once you get a little taste, you're like, well, if I can do a half marathon, I bet I can do a full marathon. But the hardest part, of course, is putting on your shoes. Because once you put on your shoes, it means you've decided that you're going to go for a run instead of watching TV, or instead of shopping, or instead of relaxing, or instead of playing online. It means that you've decided that you're going to put your shoes on and go out and actually do this thing. In Germany in the winter, it's cold and it's rainy. It would rain a lot, or even those days where the sky is gray and heavy and pregnant with rain, and it's going to rain any second. You're just trying to get inside before it does. But then there were those days where I had to run across a bridge to go to the other side of the river and run for a while and then come back. And the view from the top of the bridge, you could see all the way down to Dusseldorf in one direction and all the way down to Kaiserswerth in another. There were two different little areas. And the sky was blue, and you could feel the wind and the sun, and the water would be sparkling underneath. And it was beautiful. You're on top of the world. And I wouldn't have gotten there if I hadn't been running and if I hadn't been training. So eventually the day came, and I actually ran a marathon in Rome, which is a great way to see all of Rome in a day. And it wasn't easy. In fact, it was really difficult. It started and ended at the Colosseum, which is up on a hill, if you don't realize, which is great when you're starting and you go downhill, but not so great that last kilometer when you've got to go uphill to get to the end. But I made it. And it gave me one of these. And all it cost me was making tough decisions. It cost me deciding to run instead of watching TV. It cost me to deciding to put my shoes on instead of taking a nap. It cost me going out in the cold and the gray and the wet instead of staying inside where it was warm and dry. And it occurred to me that one of the things about life, if you want to succeed, is that it doesn't take a lot of skill. Sometimes you just need to not stop. Sometimes our whole lives are a series of deciding to put our shoes on and to do the tough thing and to do the difficult thing instead of to doing the easy thing. And I realized that I only have one life, and I don't want to fill it with things that don't cost me anything. I don't want to fill it with things that don't really matter. Setting a goal, I'm not saying everybody has to run a marathon, but it blew my mind. If you had told 7th grade me with a black eye from running hurdles that one day I'd run a marathon, I would have never believed it in a million years. But making a series of tough decisions, one, it gives you the view that you'll never see any other way. And two, it helps you accomplish goals that you never thought you could. There are a lot of things that you can accomplish if you just keep going. So what's one goal that you have? What's a goal that you could make that you know that you could accomplish if you just keep going, if you just don't stop? Put it in the comments. I'd love to know what they are. And then get out there and put your shoes on, because it's good to be alive. And you are not in this alone. And you, my darling, are spectacular. Have a great day.